Hey guys, it's Zensoka here, and I'll just jump right into it with another video of SAO Alicization Rising Steel. So recently I was actually asked about whether or not, or about who is better, Relentless Night Fanatio or the brand new Endless Blue Skies Sinon. Now, both of them are pretty similar in a lot of respects. Mainly, both are light types, as well as they're both chargers and they both have an AoE. And so that's exactly why someone asked me who's better, and if they were to choose, or if I were to choose, who would I summon on? All right, so let's go ahead and just do the little breakdown. And before we go any further, the site I'm using is actually called saoars.fanadata.com, as you guys can see up there, and it's a free site to use. The creators that have made it are amazing and they do it for free, but if you feel like supporting them, I believe they do actually have a I believe they have a Patreon or something that you can donate to. But yeah, they're great and it's a great resource. I use it quite often actually myself, just to see how characters are and if they're quote unquote worth pulling. And since I decided that, I was gonna start doing banner and analyzation, or whatever, analyzing videos, I figured why not start with this one, since we literally just had the Fanatio banner and now we have the Sinon banner. But anyways, without further ado, on the site they actually have the stats for every character up until full limit break. I believe for now they actually don't have the full stats for a 4-star or fully limit broken Sinon. So we'll go ahead and just compare them with their 3-star stats. So this one here is Sinon. Looking at her stats, 6700 HP, 253 MP, etc, etc. But the biggest differences between her and Fanatio are her attack, defense, magic defense, crit, and speed. Typically, this is what we want to be looking at anyway. As we know, Sinon uses bows, and bows are considered thrust type weapons in the game, same thing as rapiers. So basically, in that respect, they're the same. But looking at here, attack wise, Fanatio, basically all their stats are very similar, and the biggest difference is that Fanatio has about 100 attack on Sinon with 30 less defense, 30 less magic defense, 100 less HP, but I believe she has quite a bit more 5 more MP. And Sinon has less crit, but she has about 4 more speed. And when speed is that close, I don't think it matters that much in terms of PvE. And of course, PvP wise, obviously Sinon will always go before Fanatio. Okay, so the other really big thing about why people were asking me who should I pull for, is because their abilities and what they bring to the team. So both are chargers, light chargers at that. Both have the strong multiplier. The only difference is that Fanatio has a continuous light damage for 4 turns, which I believe on average every time I've seen a continuous damage, it's about 1500 to 2000 more damage, more or less, so and so. I've never had a fully limit broken one character using it, so I can't tell, but from what I've seen, it typically does no more than 2000 extra damage or so per turn. And in regards to Sinon, she raises her own crit rate by 10%. So basically, as you guys know, or I believe in the game, critical damage is approximately 1.5 times the regular attack. So you guys can do the comparison. Do you want the guaranteed about 8,000 more damage over 4 turns, or do you want potentially about depending on how strong Sinon is. Most attacks honestly are probably, they probably do about 10,000 damage or so to enemies that you're strong against. So that will end up being 5,000 or so, more or less, extra damage. So if you guys even think about it in that way, Fanatio potentially wins out. And then moving on to the next ability is the second ability is the assault. So Sinon has a strong assault on all enemies plus an additional medium on one enemy. So I believe that I actually don't know, but I'm pretty sure how it's made is that you can actually choose, if there's multiple enemies, you choose which one you want the extra attack on, which ends up being an extra strong on that enemy. Okay, so in regards to Fanatio, she also has an AoE strong attack on enemies, but what hers does is it also lowers the attack by 10% for all enemies. So that's huge. It's big, you know, because even if you were to go on a single target boss, you know, if you're not using the AoE to clear out trash mobs, you want to use an assault on a single target boss. So in this regard, Sinon will always do extra strong damage on a single boss, while Fanatio also has a single target extra strong attack, which on top of not only being extra strong, it also lowers physical resistance by 20% for one turn, which is huge, really big, especially if you cannot do a 4-person incarnate, or you need that one extra assault just to be able to get full incarnate, and then you can 3-character incarnate. Yeah, that's huge. So there's that. And not only that, is that the big thing is that her AoE also lowers attack by 10%. So for physical damage bosses, if there's a big attack coming and you know it, and you don't want to waste a turn using a character's physical defense buff or an AoE heal, maybe you want to try to power through it, and maybe just maybe that lowering the attack by 10% ends up making the difference and between all your characters dying and no one dying without having to waste a turn. On top of that, it still damages the enemy. While in regards to Sinon, she has this self buff where she increases her attack by 20% and her evasion rate by 20% for 3 turns. Because it's 3 turns, it's usable, but at the same time useless. Because you know, one, you're missing out on that extra strong damage or a charge turn. 2, if you're going to use a buff, it's better to use characters with a AoE buff. For example, the Fierce Flash Asuna or the Spiraling Leveling Kirito, they both have, or even that new Dark Asuna that came out for the ordinal scale, they all have a AoE attack buff, all of which are 20%, except for the Dark Asuna, I believe it's 15%. And so not only are you taking one turn to buff everybody, and typically when you buff everybody, you're doing it before you do a full team incarnate. So having to waste one turn for one character buff is like really useless in my opinion. Maybe it might be viable in PvP, but at the same time, ordinal battle is like very easy to win, and a evasion rate of 20%, that's so minuscule. You might as well just keep attacking. And so, long story short, if you do not care about waifu material, or if you're not a really big fan of Sinon or Fanatio and you just want to get the most quote-unquote bang for your buck, and if they were on like a similar banner, I would definitely hands down always choose Fanatio over Sinon. Not only that, is because the weapon archetypes as well. As you guys know, Fanatio is a rapier. She uses a rapier, while Sinon, it doesn't show here, but she uses bows, obviously. So if you're going to want to roll for Sinon, you basically have to roll for a bow. It's like a fact of the matter. Where bows were just introduced, so you definitely have to roll. If you weren't lucky enough to get a bow or her bow, you're going to have to roll multiple times. And in terms of Fanatio, rapiers have been in the game since the beginning. At this point, if you've been playing for a while, you probably at least probably have a 3-star light rapier or a 3-star rapier period. When it comes to me, I actually have multiple 4-star rapiers. So hands down, Fanatio is definitely the character I would rather pick, especially because rapiers are way more common than bows. Again, unless if you were lucky enough to get Sinon's bow. But in my case, I was not lucky to get Sinon's bow at all. So yeah, the only reason why you would potentially want to roll for Sinon over Fanatio is the fact that her banner is a step up. So unless if you've gotten Sinon on like the first free multi-pull, and you don't care for that guaranteed 4-star character on the very last step where 50% chance for Sinon, I wouldn't roll for her. And if you really needed a light unit, I would definitely go back and revisit Fanatio banner, especially because it's coming to the point where that banner is going to be over soon. And yeah, all right, well, hopefully this was able to help you guys decide whether or not you should roll for Fanatio or if you should really do the Sinon banner. Of course, some people love the fact that it's a step-up banner, and it is a little pricey, 1,000 cubes to guarantee 1 4-star, where I really got screwed over on the banner, to be honest, but it is what it is. But again, it's a 50% chance for Sinon, so if you were to get her early on, you probably wouldn't care. But if you're already like on step 3 or 4, you might as well try to hope so you can limit break her or even get the extra character, because that 4-star character, guaranteed 4-star character, is huge though, since especially RNG wise, I literally, with my most recent multi-pulls, again, I'm really disappointed that my phone's recording app like really messed up and didn't record, but I literally did about 17 multi-pulls before I finally got a 4-star character. And yeah, all right, well, again, hopefully this video helped you guys to decide whether or not you should pull for Sinon or for Fanatio. And if you're not a fan of both and want to just save your cubes, by all means, save your cubes. And yeah, hopefully if you guys do summon, good luck to you guys. I wish you guys the best. Until next time, have fun and continue to enjoy the game.